YouTube, so I want to make this video short, sweet, and to the point. So the Drunken Peasants made another video about my crazy ex's bullshit, and Jessica's videos have been clipped from all these live streams she's been doing since she got back to Virginia. And long story short, you know who it is. It's my crazy ex. We'll call her that because she's obsessed with me, and she's extremely hypocritical, and she's two-faced as fuck. How the fuck are you gonna complain about me having an alcohol problem when you're buying me alcohol? Or for that matter, going home and trying to drink as much as I do, but you can't handle your shit because Jessica Boyle is emotionally unstable. She went from one video clip talking about how she wanted to fucking kill herself, and you could hear cops banging on the bathroom, because you can tell her parents and the police department in her town are sick of her shit. Now, here's the short end of it. I told Jessica we broke up. I don't want to see her anymore. Please do not show up to Casper or to my house. And someone bought her a ticket, and she was in town for 4 days before she showed up to my house after saying she wasn't going to do it. I initially felt bad for her, and I didn't want her to go homeless, and I did not want my fans to be forced to pay for her shit. That's not fair to them either. So I'm like, fuck it. Maybe she could be a mature, like a mature adult and like relatively sane adult about it. But no, she couldn't. She fucking couldn't. And then she told me I'd never call the cops on you, and she does it anyways. And you know she's going to get mad at people for calling the cops on her when she's the one that's actually experiencing the shit she calls me for. Right. I know all this because watching the Drunken Peasants, a lot of my YouTube fans are watching her streams and clipping everything she says. So if she tries to say, well, I never said this and Josh is a piece of shit, blah, 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 they can go, Jessica, bullshit. Okay? So they've clipped a bunch of shit from the, you know what I'm saying? Now, long story short, Jessica's trying to make me out in this one clip like I'm a piece of shit who doesn't appreciate her or the fans. Because she did send me a 5-gallon jar to make mead. But here's the thing of it. She only showed interest in making it because I had an interest in it, allegedly. Her mom used to make her own homemade wines, and Jessica showed no interest in it. See, this is part of her manipulation, pretend to like everything Josh likes, so it makes him easier to emotionally control. Here's the thing of it. She didn't ask me how the mead works or how do you make it. She didn't bother paying attention to me making it on YouTube. Because here's the thing of it. When you're making a jar of mead, you have 2 stages. You have your fermenting stage and you have your filtration stage. And this is going to explain it to you in the simplest way possible on how to make your own homemade wine / mead. One, store-bought yeast can work, but you want actual mead ingredients like turbo yeast or 1118. You want it done quickly, you get turbo yeast. You pour in your liquid, your fruits, a little bit of honey, a little bit of sugar, or you use liquids that have fruits in them. It's important to do your research, and I didn't just start making mead off the top and be like, yeah, here you go, No, I actually spurred the fuck out on YouTube, watching a bunch of other YouTubers make it. And I was like, all right, all right, all right. So this is how you do it. Okay, and I perfected my own method, and it works. It works for me. It may not work for you. It's important to do your research. But making homemade wine / mead is basic science. The only difference between mead and wine is honey. You pour honey into your wine mixture. You see what I'm saying? If I would have avoided pouring honey into my last batch of wine, it would have been just a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup banana wine. But adding honey to it for extra sweetness, because it's Halloween, it's trick-or-treat season, makes it a mead. And I film every process every time I make it, and you know what I'm saying? And the next step to making my mead is going to be simple enough. You take all the liquid. Fuck Jessica, she's insufferable. You take all the liquid out of the jar on the 26th and strain it into a clean jar. And you leave all the bananas and leftover chocolate behind and discard that and rinse out your jar. The second jar is your filtration jar. So you want to filter all the liquid into the second jar. When you're filtering the liquid into the second jar, you want to make sure all the dead yeast stays in the first jar along with any fruits or like chocolate or whatever else you use. And that's basically it. Now Jessica here is has been clipped saying, and I quote, you know what I'm saying? That, oh, Josh has this 5-gallon jar that I sent him and he doesn't appreciate it. Basically what she's hinting at with the way she's talking. And I was like, you didn't bother asking me. And I told you, I fucking told you when we were still dating, I need the other one. Otherwise, I'm going to have a fucking 1-gallon bucket for every 5 gallons that are in that jar. Because you need to have a clean jar or space to filter your wine or your mead. You don't want to be fucking drinking that shit straight out of the first jar. That's, no. No. Just no. Filtering it after you fermenting it. The 2 F's to fine homemade hooch. Filter and ferment. Yeast, sugar, liquid, fruit, honey. It's 5 ingredients. It is simple enough to make, but it's also complex in its own special way because if you try to mix something that's the yeast don't like, your yeast is going to die, you know what I'm saying? So it's important to look up recipes, and I take the risk of trying the homemade hooch that I make, knowing that if it doesn't work or get me drunk, then it probably, you know what I'm saying? But like I've been making enough batches of homemade to where I know the signs, and when I see it's doing just like the last batch did, and the last batch got me drunk or tipsy, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You learn from experience. That's the key thing of it. And Jessica's sitting here airing out my dirty laundry, trying as hard as she can to make me look bad and piss me off. And then play the victim with her fake crying, and people clip it. And now the Drunken Peasants has like a bunch of clips from all of her streams that she's made since she's been back in Virginia. And it's like, nah, dude. And on top of that, Jessica Boyle's trying to revenge porn me like, well, you broke up with me. Well, I want to show everyone a video of you and what I did to your dick. So how do you like that? I'm like, everyone's seen my dick because of my stupid YouTube trolls. Who are gay for my cock. Or who are just jealous because theirs doesn't look that good, so they gotta obsess over it. And I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole. God damn it. But Jessica has mental problems. I feel sorry for her. And she can talk all this crap about me on YouTube, and when I try to defend myself because people are making accusations, because Jessica craves attention, and the whole thing boils into a shit stew of spill the tea, what's your version of the story kind of thing. It's just stupid. It's fucking stupid. The only thing that was good about this particular episode is you got to see me in it, not trying to be narcissistic, but having to deal with Jared's weird ass and then Jessica's fucking psychotic ass in the same fucking video. It's just like, nope. Ugh. There's a lot of little things, but I'm not going to get into it. It's fucking...
I don't care if there's screenshots. He can leave me alone.
Okay, so check this out. Jessica's sitting there asking me to leave her alone when she's the one stalking me to Casper. After I broke up with Jessica, I had no intentions of flying down to see her in Virginia. I figured we broke up, she'd take the hints, maybe seek some mental help. And people are going to try to, like, do everything they can to make more drama for the situation. You know, it's bullshit, because when I first started dating Jessica, my trolls couldn't handle it. Because, as usual, my YouTube trolls don't like me having a girlfriend or a female friend, because they can't get laid. They spend all day sucking my cock harder than my ex did. And they're more obsessed with it than she is. And on top of that, as soon as my YouTube trolls find out who I'm crushing on or who I'm dating, they harass her as hard as they can until she breaks up with me. So it does make my situation difficult. But plenty of women dig my videos, and that's all that counts. And Jessica craved the attention what I provided, but she couldn't handle the pressure of it. And she has mental problems on top of it, which made it worse. And once the YouTube trolls of mine realized she's got mental problems, they teamed up with Jessica Messica and all of Jessica's trolls to troll us both. And it made it very difficult and very toxic. And and that I could put up with to a point, but when Jessica starts yelling at me for no fucking reason, and you can't talk to her because she's spiraling and she starts doing her mental shit, it's too much to deal with, dude. And say what you want to say about me, believe what you want to believe, but when you've got clips of Jessica's streams, my ex's streams, tastefully put together to prove that I'm right, because, get this, my YouTube trolls can't stand her either. Because they think they're the only ones allowed to treat me like shit. Fuck out of here, you hypocrites. And Jessica's a hypocrite too. She wants to give me shit about my drinking, but here you are in this random collection of clips that you probably deleted because you didn't want anyone to see it, but people already clipped it too late. Of you whining about how you want to fuck me still, and how you want to off yourself, and then you want to call the cops on me for being suicidal when I'm not. Yeah, no one's buying your shit, Jessica. And goddamn, that's good beer. Samuel Smith Chocolate Stout. Last one for the evening because I'm OUT out. That's just fucking fine. It's the weekend. The Drunken Peasants are doing another episode, and the only reason I watched is because they were featuring me, and then they started busting out into this other weird asshole, and I was just like, no, gross. And then they started dogging on Jessica, and I was like, ha, this is hilarious. And then once the YouTube trolls realize that Jessica is easier to troll than I am, and she actually reacts to it worse than I do, and doesn't learn from it, that she's easier to troll than I am, and that they could potentially create more drama by gaslighting her and gaslighting me and just all this dumb shit, her shit, their shit, all this shit, you know what I'm saying? It's mentally exhausting, but all I can do is laugh at it. Because Jessica and my YouTube trolls are fucking obsessed with me, so I must be doing something right. The only reason I bought Jessica any of this chocolate beer in the first place is because I was bragging about how tasty it was, and Jessica wanted to try it. And despite her stalking me, I tried to be a good guy because she was buying some booze, so I buy it back. So she can't justify it and say that, oh, well, I'm buying all the booze and Josh is the alcohol. Fuck off, dude. The worst. So I said, as soon as you get back to Virginia, I'll buy you a 4-pack because I said I would. And I did. Instead of saying thank you to whoever sent it, she immediately goes on Facebook and shoves it in my face. She doesn't realize that the Casper Police Department's aware of my YouTube trolls and all the crazy crap I gotta put up with just because I'm King Cobra JFS. And I already explained to the Casper Police Department that I broke up with Jessica and that she's stalking me. And the only reason I let her stay here is because I don't want my YouTube fans to have to pay that burden. You know, the fact that she doesn't have a job, she just has to leech off my fans. And then says I'm a lazy piece of shit because I didn't make wands. That's fucking BC Rich. Or she blows, Cobra fam. That's the last of it. Another exquisite evening of. So to count, I had like 8 of those chocolate beers and like 1 iced tea, like hard tea, and that's enough. Seems a bit excessive, but that's fine for the evening. Excuse me. But I get tired of everyone in my life fucking drinks, but then they gotta count my drinks, you know? And I don't want to cause a fight over it, so when they give me shit about it, I just ignore it and take it, you know? Sometimes someone's got to be the lightning for the dysfunction in certain situations, and if it ends up being my ass, then so be it. So be it. Sometimes I don't want drama, I just want to chill and vibe, you know? Yeah. And Samuel Smith Organic Chocolate Stout is fucking delicious. Mmm. Yeah, I fuck with that beer super hard. And Jessica, that's the thing of it. You could have taken the 4-pack and gone, oh, I know who gave this to me. He did say he was going to get me a 4-pack of it. Because if I hadn't got it, she'd call me a cheapskate and say, well, John, she would have used that in her fucking thing, you know. She would have been like, oh, Josh said he was going to get me a 4-pack of beer and he never did that. She would have used that in her little rants against me and then turned around and got drunk on camera and like sitting there fucking, you know what I'm saying? Fuck off with it. And I think I've briefly explained how mead is made, or how wine / homemade alcohol, you gotta have a jar for fermenting and then you gotta have a jar for filtration. And you can make it on smaller scales if you know how it's done. You gotta leave a little bit of room at the top to burp it so the foam from fermentation don't leak out the sides and make a mess. Your first couple of batches of mead may not be the best, but you don't get sick from it and you get a little bit tipsy from it. You start to learn, okay, well, this works with that. And that's just life. It's trial and fucking error, man. And the only reason I had this big 5-gallon jar that Jessica sent me for making mead is because I don't have the filtration jar. I don't have its twin next to me. It doesn't do me any good to send me this one jar and then be like, oh, well, how come you're not using it? Because I'd have to filter it into another jar of the equal size or in smaller buckets. And I don't have smaller buckets. And you have the other fucking 5-gallon thing. Fuck's sake. This is why I have my current jar of mead, which is the banana Reese's Peanut Butter Cup mead, next to a jar that doesn't have a lid on it, that's sparkling clean and empty. Because on the 26th of March, I take my strainer, I put it over the clean jar, and I take my sweet ass time pouring all the liquid from the first jar into the second jar and filtering it, so it's nothing but liquid and everything else gets left behind. So all the flavor that's been stinkifying in that first jar is going to go into the second jar. And that second jar, I'm going to fucking leave it on the shelf and let it age till Halloween. And on the 31st of October, I will try a glass of it and give it my final thoughts. I honestly enjoy making homemade wine regardless if it's mead or not, but mead's my favorite way to make it. And it's a fun little hobby to get into. It's something to do, It gets you up in the morning because you look at it, you're watching it age and do its thing. And then you get excited about trying it, and if it's really good, you keep it in your recipes of homemade. And if it sucks, you go, okay, what could I have done differently? You learn to critique your own work, so to speak. But all the clips you see on the Drunken Peasants episode, King Cobra gives Drunken Peasants a shout out. All those Jessica clips are from all the streams she's done since she's gotten back. She was here late August to early September. And a lot of people are on my side, so I appreciate that. That's seriously fucking good beer.
Huh?
What do you want, Deathbed?
Deathbed tapes. Represent.
What do you want? To come harass me? What do you...
And Jessica is too stupid to think it's probably the fake Deathbed tapes, because that's the kind of crap that my YouTube trolls would do. Jessica's got mental problems and she's gonna believe half the crap. It's fucking annoying. Someone's gonna impersonate my record manager because they want to stir up more drama if it really is him. And Jessica's not taking the hint. You know what I'm saying? There's just so many factors to it.
She thinks we'll believe this.
And a lot of people are not buying it, dude, and I appreciate it. We got a donation here. Rock has just donated $5. Says she thinks we'll believe this. And that's my whole point. And a point that I'll say it like Drunken Peasants said it. As long as Jessica thinks or she believes what she's saying is true, she doesn't care if she knows it's not true, and if everyone else knows it's not true. As long as she believes it, then she'll think it's true, and that's what makes her truly delusional.